Hi, so what is your eating challenge? Is it the evening meals? Is it the social events? Or is it the weekends? We all have challenges when it comes to food. I know for me personally, when I travel up north to see my brother, his wife's a fantastic chef, and I can quite easily overindulge whilst I'm up there. In fact, if I lived up there, I think I'd be half a stone heavier than what I am right now. So we all have these challenges. In this short training, I'm going to share with you a very small and subtle shift that you can make that can help you to not only lose the weight, but develop a habit that will enable you to keep the weight off long term. And I'm going to be sharing with you some feedback from some of my clients as well relating to this little shift that you can make to help yourself lose the weight and keep it off long term. Now, as we're talking about food, I've put a link around this video to my free 5 recipe ingredients which you can download today. It's a link around this video. Just click on the link and you can download those free 5 recipes today. A bit of a tongue twister that for some reason. So what is this shift then that you can make? Well, I want to start off by sharing a little story with you. A client of mine, her name's Rachel. When she came to see me, Rachel wanted to lose a significant amount of weight. She had lower back pain. She was referred in to me via a physiotherapist. And around about week number 2, she came to me and said, Eric, I've got a girlies weekend coming up this weekend. And typically on the girlies weekend, I will overindulge on the food and the alcohol as well. What do you suggest? And I smiled at her and said, great. Here's an opportunity. She looked at me as if I was a lunatic, saying, I've just told you I've got a girlies weekend coming up and I typically gain weight over these weekends, and you're smiling and saying it's an opportunity. Well, we got into conversation about it and we spoke about some of the tips I'd already given her in the previous 2 weeks and said, look, this is an opportunity for you to go away and put into practice some of the things that you have learned over the last 2 weeks. And indeed, test your resolve really in terms of these lifestyle changes that you want to make. Anyway, long story short, she came back a week later and she came back 2 to 3 pounds lighter than what she was the previous week, to her amazement. Now, first of all, just important for me to say, I don't recommend that my clients lose 2 to 3 pounds a week. I recommend 1.25 to 1.75 pounds per week. I think that's far more sustainable. However, she'd lost 2 to 3 pounds, whereas normally she'd probably gain anywhere between 5 and possibly 7 pounds over that weekend. So what had actually happened to Rachel over that weekend? Well, she'd made a very small perception shift in terms of how she viewed that weekend. And making that very small perception shift allowed her to go on and lose another 54 pounds. She lost 56 pounds in total. So part of you becoming successful, apart from the tip I'm going to be sharing with you, is being, first of all, prepared to look at your perception and how you perceive certain challenges and be open to the possibility there's another way of approaching it. Because if you're not open to that possibility, then anything that I could possibly share with you is going to be totally irrelevant. So that's what she was prepared to do, be a little bit open to shifting her perception and what that weekend meant with her girly friends. And she did that and went on and became really successful. So that's the first thing, just to sort of bear that in mind. Now here's the thing, here's what happens when you shift your perception. It allows you, me and everybody else to be able to unlock their true potential, because we've all got great potential, but sometimes we are not realizing that potential simply because we're not allowing ourselves to access that potential because we have a perception of reality being a certain way, and because we perceive it a certain way, we can't access that potential. So that's the first little thing to share with you. Change your perception, unlock your potential. But in doing that, we need to also be aware of the fact that we have a history as well. Everybody has a history when it comes to eating and overeating. I have a history and you have a history as well. And your history is often the best indicator of predicted future behavior. Now, your history doesn't necessarily mean that's going to predict your future, but it is an indicator as to how you might behave in the future when you're faced with similar challenging eating situations. So, the tip that I like to give clients is a really, really simple one, and here's the one that you want to make a little note of. And it's pretty simple. Try and be 50% better in those challenging situations, whatever they may be. There could be parties, there could be anniversaries, there could be holidays away, whatever the events are. Try and be 50% better than what you normally are. So you're not going for perfection, because when you try and go for perfection, then you are going to fail, because we'll all fail, because nobody's perfect. And here's some of the feedback that some of my clients gave me regarding trying to be 50% better. One client said to me, her thing was, when she went out to drink alcohol, she typically wine, she'd have one glass of wine, 1 glass of water, 1 glass of wine, 1 glass of water. That's what she did, and I thought it was a really good little tip that she had, and it was a lifestyle change she'd made, and that came from a lady called Gaynor, who actually went on to lose 6 stone in weight. So a really useful tip, and it became a lifestyle habit for her, just being 50% better. So instead of 4 glasses of wine, 2 glasses of wine. Another client of mine, she was able to lose, currently she's lost, she lost 26 pounds at the moment of this recording. And her feedback on this 50% better was, when she goes out for cream teas with her girlfriend, instead of ordering 2 cream teas, she'd order 1 cream tea and 2 cups of tea. So now they're splitting that cream tea in half. You know, the ones where you've got all the plates layered, one plate on top of the other. Well, basically they share that in half, so 50% better there. And the third bit of feedback I got from one client was, go up to the buffet whenever she goes to a social event just once. And it did make us laugh. She shared that on a call that we were on. Just go up to the buffet once. And that particular client, as of this recording, she has lost just over 4 stone. So these things work incredibly well. And I think the reason they work really well is because what you're not doing is saying, I have to be perfect every single time. Whenever I'm faced with a challenge, I've either got to go all in and have nothing, or I just go overboard and overeat. Well, this is a nice halfway house, I think, the 50% better. Now, it may well be that 50% maybe isn't quite enough to move the needle enough for you in terms of losing the pounds, and there are occasions when you have to be a bit better than that. But this is more of a long-term strategy that can help you to, say, lose weight, but certainly help you to keep the weight off long-term. So just try and be 50% better. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this topic, whether or not you've tried something similar or you've got a better idea. And if you have any questions at all around this topic, then please do feel free to reach out to me and let me know. And don't forget, in the meantime, I have put a link around this video to my free 5-ingredient recipes. It's a really quick way to cook healthily. You can click on that link and you can get access to those recipes today. Until next time, take very good care and bye for now.